sometimes making it so your opponent can't play the game is even better than making it so that they lose. Those are kind of the same. Hey, Nick from 9Card TCG, and today we're going to be talking about a deck that is guaranteed to frustrate your opponent, and it's one of those decks that is just going to do what it wants. It's super annoying to play, and we're talking about a Vikavolt V item lock deck upgraded or updated with a bunch of cards from Silver Tempest. It's so, God, item lock is so annoying. There's a lot of decks that really, almost every deck needs to play their items, their quick balls, ultra balls, evolution, incense, whatever. You can't just live off Professor's Research or Marnie, Serena, whatever, just so you can find an energy and slowly attach and barely get to do the things you want to do. So it's really irritating, and it's honestly not a bad decision or not a bad call because it hits some of the best decks for weakness. But we're gonna get into that. But before we do, if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. That kind of stuff tells YouTube this is a good channel and other people should watch it. We're going to head over to the PokeGear app because it is a fantastic site for making deck lists. So if you're curious, link in the video description. And I do have a link to where I got all of the Silver Tempest English proxies provided by Talon at X on Twitter in the description as well. With all that said, let's head over to PokeGear and check out this deck. The newest card that we're going to talk about first, because it's actually a pretty big part of the strategy, is Regieleki V. Regieleki V has a Lightning Wall attack for Lightning double colorless, does 100 damage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to get up there. And then also during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 100 less damage from attacks, which is really solid. We have 200 HP, so we're a little bit squishy. We got a fighting weakness, which I personally love to see as someone who loves Urshifu. So being able to, like an Arceus is going to hit you for 210 because they have a choice belt, all that kind of stuff. Now they're only hitting you for 110 and you still get to survive. Next turn you evolve into the VMAX, so you can just keep hitting with Lightning Wall if you so choose. Not a bad attack. And then we do have Regieleki VMAX. It's not going to show, why would it? Regieleki VMAX, 310 health, free retreat, which is nice. Do keep in mind the V has a retreat cost of 1. The VMAX retreats for free. Transistor is the ability, and your basic lightning Pokemon attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now this effect stacks, which means if we have 3 Regieleki VMAXs, because that's how many we have in the deck, your attacks for basic lightning Pokemon are going to go up by 90 damage. Absolutely insane. Do you need 3 Regieleki VMAXs in play? Should you have 3 Regieleki VMAXs in play? I don't know. That's up to you. I probably wouldn't, but you do what you need, right? So we get the Regieleki V. That 100 damage now becomes 190, and we got something like Choice Belt on there to bring it up to 220, which means we're taking knockouts on Pokemon V that aren't even weak to Lightning. Absolutely insane. Is that a little bit of a setup? Is that even really possible? No, because if we have 3 Regieleki VMAXs in play, that means all 3 Regieleki Vs are accounted for, but just to give you an idea of how that kind of stuff works. What we really want to be attacking with is Vikavolt V. Now, Vikavolt V has the Paralyzing Bolt attack for Lightning and a colorless. It does 50 damage, plus 30 for each Regieleki V Max, plus 30 for Choice Belt, plus times 3 weakness if you use super effective glasses. So a lot of ways that this Paralyzing Bolt is going to be doing big damage. And during our opponent's next turn, they can't play item cards. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that it's super good against some decks in the meta. What kind of decks want to utilize or would be good to play with Vikavolt? That's what kind of decks will Vikavolt V thrive against? Well, Lugia has a lightning weakness. Yes, it has Dunsparce. I know, don't bother with that. But in case they aren't playing it or in case they don't have it, they can't quick ball for it, they can't level ball for it because you item lock them. Well, maybe you get the attack off and you get to hit them for weakness. Also, Palkia, if you have, it's like the best deck in the game at the moment. By the time Silver Tempest releases, that might not be the case, but it still is a very powerful deck, very good deck. So you get to take away their ability to use shady dealings for the most part. Yeah, sure, they can search for Marnie's, research Melanie's still. They can still do things, but a lot of that plan revolves around using Irida, which gets them a water Pokemon and an item. But oh wait, they can't use that item, so super annoying. And then Zap Cannon or Super Zap Cannon for double Lightning Colors, hits for 190, discard 2 energy from the Pokemon, whatever. We really are going to be using Paralyzing Bolt over and over again. It even has a pretty decent matchup against Mew because their entire deck is basically items. They're going to Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, play their Power Tablets, they're going to play their Crams, they're going to play their Choice Belts, so they can dig through the deck with Genesect and, find the things they need. But if you keep them from playing items, how are they going to thin the hand to draw with Genesect? They won't be able to. So really, really interesting strategy. Retreat cost of 3, which is pretty high, but you know what? We don't really care that much because once that Vikavolt in the active, it's probably going to stay there until it's time to, until your opponent concedes. Some of the other stuff we have in here is Raikou V. Fleet-footed is a great ability when it's in the active. Once during your turn, you can draw a card. Nice. And Lightning Rondo for a Lightning Colorless hits for 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each Pokemon on yours and your opponent's bench. So we're going to hit for 220 damage plus Choice Belt plus Transistor plus super effective glasses. A lot of ways that Raikou can hit really, really hard. Also has a retreat cost of 1. Drapion V is another way to deal with the Mew matchup because, Drapion V just one-shots a Mew, so maybe after some turns have gone by, you've knocked out a Mew VMAX because you did enough chip damage with Paralyzing Bolt. Now, they knock out your Vikavolt, maybe they knock out 2, you just come in swinging super hard with Drapion to win the game. Crobat V, play it down, joins you have 6 cards in your hand. Lumineon V, play it down to the bench, search your deck for a supporter. And then we have Radiant Greninja, discard an energy card from your hand to draw 2 cards. Super nice, especially the Greninja. The Greninja is really nice because if we discard a water energy, we can go ahead and use a Melanie to attach it to a Vikavolt, attach it to a Raikou, and then just attach lightning energy from hand, and now we're attacking, which means it's super, super easy to get this Paralyzing Bolt going your very first turn if you go second, and it's also pretty easy to do if you're going first because you would just attach, and you don't even need the Melanie anymore. Some of the other things that make this deck pretty nice is like a Hisuian Heavy Ball, so you can find some Pokemon early in the game. Maybe our Greninja's prized, maybe we really need a Lumineon and it's prized. We can get those Pokemon out. Ordinary Rod to recover some energy in Pokemon after they've gotten knocked out. Power Pad to recover some supporters. Now, you might not agree with the Cancel and Clone, but you do kind of need an out to Miltank. Without it, you just auto lose to Miltank. Kind of have to hope that they just deck out first. But Cancel and Clone until the end of your turn, your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities. So that's pretty nice. We can always use Silene to get them back. Flip 2 coins, put a number of cards up to the number of heads from your discard pile on the top of your deck in any order you want. So if our opponent does play like quad Miltanks, we can Cancel and Clone, use 2 of them. Silene, get 1 back. Silene, get 1 back, because assuming you hit the heads and tails, 50-50 chance. But there is a way to get 4 Cancel and Clones in this deck, by only having 2. Silene's also not a bad thing if we just need to get some cards back from the discard. It's a really nice recovery option. Yes, it does have to wait until the next turn, but if you play Silene and then Radiant Greninja, you just draw the 2 cards you put on top of the deck. So there is ways to make that happen in the same turn, but usually you're going to wait till the next turn. A little bit of Marnie Disruption, some Boss's Orders, a bunch of Melanies. We have Stormy Mountains to find our Lightning Pokemon, our basic Lightning Pokemon. Pokestop, we have a ton of items, so it's pretty likely that we're going to hit some stuff off the Pokestop. Speed and Lightning Energy, attach it to one of our many Lightning Pokemon. If you do, you get to draw 2 cards. So Lightning and Water Energies. Some of the other items we didn't cover are things like Energy Search to guarantee, say, the Water Energy, so we can discard with Quick Ball or Greninja or something to make a Melanie play happen. We have some switch cards if we do have a Vikavolt in the active, or like we start Drapion or something we don't really want to. Now we have some switch outs, and most of our Pokemon are basic Pokemon, so we get to use this and then heal a little bit of damage from them, which is kind of nice. Probably won't matter too much because a lot of our Pokemon don't evolve, so they're either getting 1-shot or the 20 damage likely isn't going to keep them from getting 2-shot, but hey, you never know. 4 Quick Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, we talked about Choice Belt, super effective glasses. The very last card in this deck is Forest Seal Stone, and this is a wonderful card. It is a tool card that has a V-Star power. So attach it to one of your Pokemon V, and they get to use the Star Alchemy ability, which lets you search your deck for any card you want. This is really great because we don't have any type of V-Star power that we want to use outside of Forest Seal Stone. Sometimes you might see Drapion V-Star in here because you can paralyze and poison your opponent's active Pokemon, make it a little easier to knock them out. Maybe you stall a turn, now they can't get that Pokemon out of the active, they can't play Switch, Escape Rope, Scoop Up Net, so it kind of just sits there. It's like a sitting duck, and then you come in and you can just continue to chip away or hit them with a Super Zap, kind of knock them out, hit them with a big Lightning Rondo, whatever it is you're going to do. The V-Star power from Drapion V-Star can be a good option, but this is just so nice to literally cherry pick any card you want. And on top of that, if Path to the Peak is in play, we do not care. This card, the ability can still be used with Path to the Peak in play. Why? Because the Forest Seal Stone says that you get to use the V-Star power, not that you gain the V-Star power. So Path to the Peak says that Pokemon rule boxes have no abilities. Okay, we have no abilities, but it doesn't say anything about tool cards not having abilities, and that's exactly what this is. It's a tool card with an ability that a Pokemon V can use. You are not gaining the ability. If you gain the ability, then you wouldn't have it because Path to the Peak will override it and say, no, you don't actually have any abilities. But the wording is very, very important. So Forest Seal Stone, sure, Path to the Peak, whatever. Maybe we need Transistor active so that we can deal as much damage as we need. Path to the Peak's in play. Oh man, we don't have our stadium, there's only one of them. We just use Forest Seal Stone, V-Star power, use the Star Alchemy, find our stadium, put it into play to bump Path, and now Transistor's active, take the knockout we need. We need to draw cards, find a supporter, maybe whatever it is we're trying to do. Our deck is kind of reliant on some abilities, so that's not a terrible option. Maybe you just really need to find a Melanie right now. You need to find a boss for game right now. You already used the Luminion. It's discarded. It's prized. Whatever. Something happens. It's just a get out of jail free card. I cannot emphasize how good this card really is. How useful it's going to be, especially in a deck where you don't have a competing V-Star power. So, yeah. You want to annoy your opponent? This is the deck to play. Now, you are super, super weak to fighting. Almost every single card in this deck is weak to fighting, which, again, me personally, I absolutely love. So please, by all means, play this deck. But even against things like Lost Zone, you can't play items. They're super dependent on items. Palkia, weak to lightning, needs items. Mew needs items. Lugia needs items, weak to lightning. There's so many things that you can do with this. I hope you let me know what you think about it in the comments below, what you think of Silver Tempest as a whole, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, found it informative, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next time.